My speech is The Ballot or the Bullet by Malcolm X, and here is my audience. They don't know what morals are. They don't try and eliminate an evil because it's an evil, or because it's illegal, or because it's immoral. They eliminate it only when it threatens their existence. So you're wasting your time appealing to the moral conscience of a bankrupt man like Uncle Sam. If he had a conscience, he'd straighten this thing out with no more pressure being put upon him. So it is necessary to change the white man's mind. We have to change our own mind. You can't change his mind about us. We've got to change our own minds about each other. We have to see each other with new eyes. We have to see each other as brothers and sisters. We have to get this problem solved ourselves. How can we do this? How can we avoid jealousy? How can we avoid the suspicion and the divisions that exist in the community? I'll tell you how. I have watched how Billy Graham comes into a city spreading what he calls the gospel of Christ, which is only white nationalism. That's what he is. Billy Graham is a white nationalist. I'm a black nationalist. But since it's the natural tendency for leaders to be jealous and look upon a powerful figure like Graham with suspicion and envy, how is it possible for him to come into a city and get all the cooperation of the church leaders? Don't think because they're church leaders that they don't have weaknesses that make them envious and jealous. No, everybody's got it. It's not an accident that when they want to choose a cardinal as Pope, over there in Rome, they get it in a closet so you can't hear them cussing and fighting and carrying on. Billy Graham comes into preaching the gospel of Christ. He evangelizes the gospel. He stirs everybody up, but he never tries to start a church. If he came in trying to start a church, all the churches would be against him. So he just comes in talking about Christ and tell everybody who gets a Christ to go to any church where Christ is. And in this way, the church cooperates with him. So we're going to take a page from this book. Our gospel is black nationalism. We're not trying to threaten the existence of any organization, but we're spreading the gospel of black nationalism. Anywhere there's a church that is also preaching and participating in the gospel of black nationalism, join that church. If the NAACP is preaching and practicing the gospel of black nationalism, join the NAACP. If CORE is spreading and participating in the gospel of black nationalism, join CORE. Join any organization that has a gospel that's the uplift of the black man. And when you get into it and see them pussyfooting or compromising, pull out because that's not black nationalism. We'll find another one. And in this manner, the organizations will increase in number and in quantity and in quality. And by August, it is in our intention to have a black nationalist convention, which will consist of delegates from all over the country who are interested in the political, economical, and social philosophy of black nationalism. After these delegates convince, we will hold a seminar, we will hold discussions, we will listen to everyone. We want to hear new ideas and new solutions and new answers. And at that time, if we fit them to form a black nationalist party, and we'll form a black nationalist party. If it's necessary to form a black nationalist army, we'll form a black nationalist army. It'll be the ballot or the bullet. It'll be liberty or it'll be death. It's time for you and me to stop sitting in this country, letting some cracker senators, northern crackers, and southern crackers sit there in Washington, D.C. and come to a conclusion in their mind that you and I are supposed to have civil rights. There's no white man going to tell me anything about my rights. Brothers and sisters, always remember, if she doesn't take senators and congressmen and presidential proclamations to give freedom to the white man, it is not necessary for legislation or proclamation or Supreme Court decisions to give freedom to the black man. You let that white man know. If this is a country of freedom, let it be a country of freedom. And if it's a country of freedom, change it. We will work with anybody, anywhere, at any time, who is genuinely interested in tackling the problem head on, non-violently, as long as the enemy is non-violent, but violent when the enemy gets violent. We'll work with you on the voter registration drive. We'll work with you on rent strikes. We'll work on you on school boycotts. I don't believe in any kind of integration. I'm not even worried about it because I know you're not going to get it anyways. You're not going to get it because you're afraid to die. You're ready to die if you try and force yourself on the white man because he'll just get as violent as those crackers in Mississippi, right here in Cleveland. But we will see work with you on the school boycotts because we're against a segregated school system. A segregated school system produces children who, when they graduate with crippled minds. But this does not mean that a school is segregated because it's all black. A segregated school means a school that is controlled by people who have no real interest in it whatsoever.